Mr. Pop.
Dark.
When the little birds are nesting, and I listen to them croon, there's two lonesome people in the whole wide world. That's me and the man in the moon.
You know, someday we'll have computers that'll just make all this stuff really easy.
I mean,
Someday
OBS has a...
magical machines that can manipulate data and transmit it over great distances will be developed.
Bam.
And then all of this stuff will be done for us by machines. That's what I believe.
OBS has a window that pops up that can do it for me, but I closed that window and I haven't taken the 2 minutes to figure out how to turn that window back on. So
that's what the singularity is really all about. It's all about just OBS working correctly the first time you click a button. That's what we have to look forward to in the machine age. Great. And I can't get here soon enough for me. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we could resume. I've updated the thing, and I'm ready for the other thing.
Okay.
Is the stream still good?
Let's try this. Take two. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Misguided User Radio, the podcast exploring Fantasy Flight Games' Arkham Horror, the card game. I'm Dane.
I'm Dan.
I'm Ben.
And today we're going to be talking about the 2019 film The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers. Just kidding. We're going to be talking about the player cards in the newest Mythos pack, A Light in the Fog. But it also has lighthouses in it. Not the player cards, but the actual pack itself, which is due pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think, right?
Due at your local gaming store.
Tomorrow for the US. I think everyone else got it already. That's why we have the cards.
That's true. We're the ones that are lagging behind as usual.
Mine's being delivered by mail, and I just got a Horror High Gear in the mail yesterday. It was supposed to come like 2 weeks ago, so I'm not.
That's the slowest card pack I've ever heard of.
It's rough. All right, why don't we just dive right in?
Yeah, let's get to the cards.
Yeah, let's as we do every so often, let's argue about some cards. So the first card to talk about, what? They changed the color of a card. What's going on? We have Holy Rosary, which is now a Guardian asset, level 2, cost 2, has a willpower icon and an agility icon on it. It is an item, charm, and blessed, and it says you get +1 willpower reaction after you succeed at a willpower test on a treachery. Exhaust Holy Rosary, add 2 blessed tokens to the chaos bag. As before, it has 2 sanity and it takes up the accessory slots. Weird, very weird.
Yeah, this was a weird twist of I guess fate for Holy Rosary. I didn't really honestly even expect to see a level 2 version of it ever, just because we already got like Return to the Gathering and
it's pretty great the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, Dane, sometimes they need to reuse art again, you know? So that's the time. It's like, well, I guess it's time to upgrade or downgrade this card.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, I wonder why they didn't just give it a different name and make it a separate item. Maybe they were worried about decks that would be too good, that would run all 4 of them with Relic Hunters, and they would just have too many willpower decks. But no, Ben is totally right. Probably the other reason is that they could reuse the art.
Yeah.
And this is accessible to, I mean, unlike the other one, there's some people that couldn't play a level 0 purple card, but they can play a level 2 blue card, right?
Yeah.
So like Joe Diamond, I don't know if he'd want to wear this, but he could.
Yeah.
That seems weird.
And of course, and luckily Mateo can still use it because it's blessed, you know, if he wants to.
Thank God.
Was the original Holy Rosary item, charm, and blessed? It might not have been blessed.
I don't think it was blessed. I think it was just item and charm.
Yeah, I think you're right. But anyway, so the only difference for this, besides the XP cost and the class, and the fact that I think it has an extra agility icon on it for some reason, is that it has this once per turn thing that you can exhaust it if you pass a will test on a treachery to add 2 blessed tokens. So let's just get this out of the way right now. Most characters do not care about blessed tokens. So if you don't care about blessed tokens, you probably don't want this card. But
well, you don't need the upgrade, right?
Yeah, but suppose you're playing Sister Mary and you're just trying to keep that bag full of blessed tokens all the time. I mean, then do you play this? I guess maybe.
Yeah, sure. Why not? gives you more blesses, probably, right? Like statistically speaking, the more things that you have that put more bless tokens in the bag.
Ben, in the 3-player game we're playing with our friend Colin, where he's playing Sister Mary, how often are we like at 10 bless tokens?
Well, he got the Guardian Covenant, which helps a lot with him keeping the bless tokens really high. So I feel like we're rolling it quite a bit after a couple rounds. So, but that is with Mary though. So Mary passively adds one each round too. So
well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is it possible that like Sister Mary just already makes enough bless tokens that even she doesn't need this?
I mean, this one's a passive way. What other ways is it calling that? I think other cards are not as passive, like you have to play them or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, this seems kind of fun. The baseline is it's a Holy Rosary, which is already a good card. So I think it's pretty easy to like if you would think about playing Holy Rosary anyway, and you have the XP, maybe you would play this and just get some free bless tokens.
I mean, I think
if you want something cheap to get a will, and like it's between this, Brother Xavier and Police Badge, right? In Guardian anyway, if you're a Guardian.
Empty vessel. Oh, you're talking about things that give you will, not
just like a static. Yeah, just like a static boost. Somebody in chat brings up a good point. If you play this in Tommy, you can shuffle it back in later once you're using it. But I think like the big part of this is that the second line of text, the triggered ability, which is that you need to be able to succeed will tests in order to get the use out of the bless tokens. And in order to do that, it's you need to be caring about the bless tokens.
Now that they've established that this is the thing that they'll do sometimes, I would like to request a Seeker version of Lucky Cigarette Case for Amanda and Mandy. I don't even care what the additional extra bonus on it is. I'm sure they can come up with something fun, but that's the next upgraded class changed accessory item that I'd like to request.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I'm excited for it. It's a pretty cool change up.
It's kind of interesting. Anything else, or should we move on to the next card?
Let's go.
The next card.
Let's go to Shield of Faith. It's another Guardian card. We've got a 2-cost asset, level 2. Has 2 will icons on it. It is a spell, and it is blessed. Seal up to 5 blessed tokens. If Shield of Faith has no token sealed on it, discard it. And then triggered ability, when an enemy attacks, investigate your location, exhaust Shield of Faith, and release a chaos token sealed here. Cancel that attack.
I feel like
it takes up an arcade slot.
It takes up an arcade slot. Yeah.
I feel like I want to compare this to like Fleshwood or something. It's like something that lets you do multiple dodges.
It kind of feels like there have been a lot of cards like this recently. Like, yeah, Fleshward's one of them. Even the what is it? Obscurancy, Obscurify, Obscuratron, Autobot, Decepticon.
What are you talking
about? I feel like you're trying to talk about the rogue card.
What's the rogue card with like a mirror broken into a million pieces on the front?
You mean the one that was spoiled?
Yeah, the one that we spoiled.
It is a card that exists. Obfuscation. Obfuscation.
Yeah, like that. Fleshward. This kind of all similar a little bit.
Damn, obfuscation.
Yeah. I mean, this is 5 dodges, right?
And it doesn't even permanently eat the bless tokens. You put them back.
Yeah.
Once you use them up.
It's anybody at your location, just like dodge.
Unlike one of the cards we just mentioned, I remember being annoyed about it because it only works like during enemy phase or something. It doesn't work on AOs.
That's right.
This one doesn't have that restriction, so you can just use it on any enemy attack, and it doesn't even say a non-elite enemy, which is kind of bonkers.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That seems like it might be enough to make this pretty good, and it has 2 will icons on it, which is always enough to make a card kind of worth looking at, even if you wouldn't normally look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously you're only playing it if you have a certain amount of blast tokens in the bag, right? Like that's the whole purpose. So like Sister Mary, if you're playing like a sort of Blessy Mateo or like somebody in the stream mentioned, Yorick is pretty good at blessing the bag. This is definitely a good thing, a good payoff, I think. because it's more of like an auxiliary purpose. It's not like the whole point of the deck. It's not like you've got this huge cannon that's going to be shooting blessed tokens at people, but it's like a way to take advantage of the blessed tokens without, and maybe you just like drop. I mean, dodge is kind of usually a one of anyways. So if you have this, you've got 3 tokens in the bag. That's probably good enough, right? Because that's 3 dodges for the cost of 2 and an action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you want to make sure you're getting 2 or maybe hopefully 3 or even more blessed tokens when you're using this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to seal all 5 blessed token on here. I don't know if you need to dodge that many times.
No, you do. Yeah, you do.
I mean that. Like, how often do we like really need dodge in a game? It's like Dane said, it's like a one of. Like I don't know if you really need to be ready to dodge 5 attacks generally, unless you're doing a weird build that you want to provoke KOs or want to be able to ignore stuff more often. I guess
that's kind of the thing. I think that usually you kind of build a Guardian deck around killing everything before it can hit you, which works pretty well and it's a good strategy. But the fact that this sort of gives you so many dodges means that maybe you can have a kind of like a tankier build where you're sort of okay letting things hit you a little bit. I don't know. It's worth looking at it anyway.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like Diana players are just over there wringing their hands like.
What is the deal with this guy? Is he in a train station or a church? Or are those Shoggoths hanging around in the pews? Are those tentacles?
I don't
know.
I don't know what's going on in this art.
I mean, it's a priest. It kind of,
I thought he was in like a steam room or something, or
yeah, but now that I'm realizing it, I'm pretty sure those are pews, right?
I think there's like stained glass windows behind him to the right. So I think he's in a church, and I think that like in the pews are like tentacles or Shoggoths or something.
Yeah. Well, it's a shield, right? So he's like protecting himself as a Cthulhu is breaking through into the church,
right?
Yeah.
Like breaking through all the windows. Oh yeah, because there's like bits of glass flying around him, right?
It looks like there's a hole in the roof.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Cool.
Let's move on though.
All right. So next card we have is Fae. It is a Seeker skill, level 1. Has a 1 will and 1 will and 2 wild icons on it. It's innate and cursed. And if a curse token is revealed during this skill test, you may return Fae to your hand when the test ends.
That's a Shakespeare quote on it.
It
So
has
wait, Silas is innate, right?
Yeah.
Silas is innate.
Okay, so he can play this.
So he could play it if he wants.
Huh.
I don't know if he'd want to though, because the survivors don't have too much stuff that they want to do with curse things. So
yeah, it's actually him. He doesn't really have a really big shot at doing that.
Honestly,
how would this work with Amanda? You'd commit it after if you reveal a curse token, committing it from underneath her. Could you pop it back in her hand and then just not have a card underneath her? I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but okay.
Yep, it affects that. The Amanda only replaces the discard. If a card would go somewhere else, it doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, I don't think that really helps very much, but it's
similar to like Eye of Truth. When that triggers off a treachery, it gets pulled out from underneath her or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't too exciting. The most interesting thing about this card is I didn't realize Fae was an adjective. I thought it was just a description for fairies in like D&D and fantasy RPGs, but
I just think it's really funny that this is a card that is a straight up upgrade to Unexpected Courage, and it's only level 1.
That's true.
Like that's kind of funny because like when we first saw Eye of Truth, we were like, oh, that's weird. It's a card that's just like definitively better than Unexpected Courage, and there's been a few other cards like that, but this is the first one that is like level 1 and accessible to a lot of people because you might get to keep it, and you also get the extra will symbol on it. So that's something.
Yeah, I think it's great for like a curse run.
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess because you get to keep it. Yeah.
And so there's these 2 cards that are coming out in the next pack, which I think everybody can't wait until they get here because they enable so much stuff. They basically make it so that you can draw a cursed or blessed token on a command after you play them anyways. So like that with this is so great because and with a lot of these things, like it enables them, and I'm kind of surprised it's coming so late in the cycle because they seem like if we had this in pack 2 or 3, then we might have been able to like start playing with all these cool things and enabling all these interesting strategies to be going for. But
that kind of always happens. They release the big flashy cards at the end, right? I feel
But this
like
isn't even a big
for the-
flashy. This
for
is just
this-
like a level 1.
Oh, is it?
enabler.
I don't know. I haven't been too up to date
We,
on stuff that's upcoming next, but
Yeah, Dane always tries to bring in cards from like 3 packs from now or whatever, and it's always like I haven't looked at this yet. I don't know. Before we move on, which we should definitely do, is this the shortest card name in the game so far?
I was thinking that too. Yeah, I was like, maybe.
I mean, oops, even oops has a longer name and an exclamation point.
And an exclamation point. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just Faye. I love the look of this card too. Like the art is amazing. It's. I think that's we're gonna see that knife later in the cycle too. But it's like some of the most striking art that I've seen in recent packs. I think.
what?
Kind of
Yeah,
gross.
what?
Don't
Yeah,
really
what
like it
is
very much.
she see like an? Oh, it's a knife that's coming at her.
It's a bloody knife that's coming at her face. I don't
Uh,
know if Zoe got too overzealous there or something like that, but
very
Well,
metal.
I mean, Fae are tricksters. They're probably wicked, you know. So you know.
Wow, nice Ben, real nice.
I just
All right, let's
boo.
let's move on to the next card, which is another secret card. It is an asset called Guided by the Unseen, and it is cost 2, level 3. It has a willpower icon and an intellect icon. It is a ritual, and it says uses 4 secrets. Fast trigger during a skill test at your location. The performing investigator may search the top 3 cards of their deck for a card that can be committed to this test. You may spend 1 secret to commit that card. Shuffle the performing investigator's deck, and it takes up an arcane slot. So this, as Dane pointed out shortly before we started recording, this as worded is kind of nonsense. I think this is one of those cards where it's sort of what was the gun that didn't actually use ammo when you use it? Old hunting rifle or something.
The blessed gun.
Whatever.
Guardian plus gun,
There was some bad gun that they forgot to print that it actually uses up ammo when you shoot it, so
Yeah.
you could just shoot it forever. And but I think a lot of people probably played where you use up the ammo just because they're used to that's how the game works. This is sort of similar, where I would have just assumed that this either exhausted itself, or you had to spend the secret before you search, or at the very least there's limit once per test. But it doesn't have any of those things.
Yeah. So as printed, you can just infinitely trigger this until you find the card you want.
Until you find all the cards.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
Absolutely
if
broken.
you have enough secrets, but it is kind of nuts. Yeah.
And triggers all research abilities in your deck forever. Like at the beginning of the game, you mull for this. You play all the research cards you can, and then you immediately just pull them all out of your deck, and you pull 4 cards that you want out of your deck, because that's how this reads right now.
Yeah, I think the consensus is definitely going to be errated immediately to be like exhaust or
Limit once per test.
once per test or something. Because right now this is bonkers. So
yeah, it's
Secrets
just,
needed it though, right? Honestly, they needed some help in the card draw / search /
yeah.
tutor.
Seekers are the worst class. You're right.
Yeah,
Especially after that.
really-
Especially after that horrible taboo nerf they had suffered through.
I know.
it would be so cruel of them to take away this card when it's offered Seekers the chance to finally be relevant for once.
I don't know.
No, so yeah, as printed, this is so good. I would absolutely play it, just because, as Dane said, the ability to like always trigger research stuff immediately, and you can keep putting secrets back onto it. Like that's the thing that's nuts, is you can find 3 astounding revelations every time you do a test, right?
Yep.
So you can basically have infinite secrets on this pretty much.
Like even for Mandy, right? Like for Mandy, this is just like you trigger you trigger it until you get your weakness, draw an encounter card, and then you just keep triggering it until you find all of your research abilities, including your signature.
Well, and it would be great to get rid of Mandy's weakness this way, instead of canceling a good search like a practice makes perfect or something, or Mr. Rook. Cancel this, which is like, oh great, I'll just do another one.
Yeah.
So, do we want to like assume they're going to put sort of a limit on it and evaluate the card like that?
I think they'll do one of 3 things. I think they'll either make it exhaust itself, or slightly less of a nerf than that, they would make it only be able to use it once per test, or they could make it so that you have to spend the secret in order to do the search.
Yeah.
Which would be probably the biggest nerf of all.
Yeah. I mean, so we can't really evaluate it, I guess, like completely objectively until they make that change, and until MJ like figures out exactly the text that they want. But I mean, like if it's limit once per test, then it's actually still pretty okay. if it's exhaust itself and it's effectively once per turn, it's like, and then if it's the last one that you said, it's like, no, you just get Mr. Rook.
Yeah, I mean, I think depending on which of those nerfs they do, or maybe something else that I'm not thinking of, it ranges between I would probably still play one copy of it to it's decent, but there's enough other good seeker cards that it wouldn't quite make it into my deck. It's like somewhere between those two. It's definitely pretty interesting. Again, depending on how it gets nerfed.
Yeah. I'm guessing like what is your reasoning for playing this instead of Mr. Rook? Well, maybe you want a different ally, right? Like that might be a reason to play this instead of.
Why are you assuming that people wouldn't play both?
Well, that's the other point.
This is cheaper than Mr. Rook, and it takes up the mostly unused slot for pure seekers right now, right?
Exactly.
Again, I'm definitely still playing Mr. Rook and Mandy.
I mean,
like,
he costs 4 experience. What if you only have 3 experience in this scenario?
No, but I think look,
do you save that for Mr. Rook, or do you buy this?
I think we're kind of getting to the point where they could nerf they could ban like 5 seeker cards, and seekers would still be the best class. You would just move on to like the next best seeker cards.
Right.
So again, when there's a card like this, and I don't even really think it makes sense to ban Mr. Rook, but if they did ban Mr. Rook, then maybe you would, come crying home to Guided by the Unseen and
Yeah,
that's a pretty good way of putting it. I mean, at least this works on other people, right? Like that's the other argument for this over Mr. Rook. If you're playing like a more supported, like a Min or something like that, and you want to use this on other people, then you can do so. Maybe if you didn't exhaust, like the doesn't exhaust thing is intentional because of that reason, because then for 3 experience, you can use this like all of the secrets in one round, right? Because then you can like say, hey, I'm going to use this, and then Mark is going to use it to kill something, and then Joe's going to use it to get some clues or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, you'd still want it to be once per test in that case, and if that's how they nerf it, then it would still be a pretty solid card.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and it would definitely be another roll of the dice to trigger research stuff too. So
yeah.
What's going on right here? Is she got like a ghost guiding her around to get her to a book or something?
She's picking that book off the shelves, and it's going like, oh, I found just the right book in this library for what I need.
Oh, that's what Conrad was saying. Thanks, Ghost Book.
Thanks to Ghost Dewey Decimal System Library Sciences. Her face looks kind of weird to me. There's like something weird.
I mean, I think she's confused because her hand their book is glowing.
Fired.
It looks like she has like a weird mask on or something. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I think she looks astonished. Maybe astounded by the revelation she's about to get.
Yeah, wow, look at all these revelations. I'm so astounded. Let's see. I think I'll take 1 secret and $4, and then I will reset my deck, and then I'll do it again.
I guess you could potentially do this. I mean, right now you could do it infinitely, right? Because you can just keep loading 1 secret on every time that you go.
Honestly, just having a free search that you can re-trigger as many times as you want during a test. The kind of mediocre research cards, like the one that came out in the last pack of Dream Eaters, that like it gives you 1 question mark, and if you succeed on a test, you get to draw a card or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you might start playing those, because if you can thin out your deck by like 6 cards every time you do a test.
I know, right?
Plus commit an upgraded perception, it starts to get pretty crazy,
Yeah.
Anyway, did Ben just die?
Ben has turned into a small hamster and become
Ben. Oh wait, Ben's running the stream. That's really bad.
Ben's not dead. Ben forgot to grab something.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good. But anyway, let's move ourselves on to the next card.
To the rogue cards. We're in the green town now.
Green zone.
All right. So the next rogue card was spoiled a long time ago. It's called Lucky Penny. It is a unique asset. Level 2, costs 2 to play. It has a will and an agility symbol on it. It is an item, charm, and a cursed, and it's exceptional. Forced when you reveal a blessed or cursed token during a skill test you are performing. Flip a coin. Where are we? On heads, treat that token as a blessed token. On a tails, treat that token as a cursed token. If you treat a blessed token as a cursed token as a result of this effect, draw 1 card, and then it takes up an accessory slot. What? This card exists now. What do we think about it?
Okay, so there's 4 possibilities. Well, there's 5 possibilities. One possibility is you don't draw a bless or a curse token, right? Then
Which is probably statistically gonna happen most of the
oh yeah, probably. I mean, if you
mean,
have Sister Mary and she's just filling
Yeah,
up the bag.
this doesn't exhaust or anything, so this is every time you do a test, if you can get a
Right.
blessed or
Yeah.
curse token. Yeah.
So if you draw a bless token,
Hmm.
if you flip a coin and you get a heads, nothing happens. If you get tails, then you basically pretend it's a curse token, but you draw a card, so you come out ahead. If you draw a curse token and you flip a coin and get heads, then it turns into a blessed token, which I guess is fine. If you do tails, then it stays a curse token and nothing happens.
Yep.
So assuming that you draw either a bless or a curse token, this has like a 50-50 shot to either give you like +4 or draw you a card.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about the +4 very much because
Right.
it's unpredictable and it's probably not going to help you pass that often.
Yeah, you'll just draw the autofill next anyway.
So what this kind of says to me is that like half the time when you draw a blessed token, you have to draw a card. And that's interesting, but it's notice the slot that it takes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes up the next
Exactly.
slot. Yeah, and you're right. Like 75% of the time, this card does nothing, right?
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And you pay for experience for it because it's exceptional.
assuming roughly even distribution of the tokens. And yeah, it takes up the next slot. Lucky cigarette case exists.
Yeah.
Now,
Why under
now,
80 circumstances would you
in a curse run where there's like a ton of curses in the bag and you're going to draw a lot of curses.
Yeah,
Maybe with like a relic hunter or something, like it might kind of get there.
Most of the rogue cards that deal with either token are curse tokens, right? Or do any rogue cards add bless? I mean,
No.
the good ones add curse.
The ally who throws 3 blesses in and then over
Priest of Two
time.
Faiths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not too excited about this. Dane's really excited because he now has to buy a coin prop. I know.
I'm excited.
I luckily already have one from some random Kickstarter I backed. They gave me a coin with
Nice.
the Cthulhu on the side, so I'm all set. If I ever decide to play this card.
I used to collect bicentennial quarters as a kid. You guys ever have bicentennial
God.
quarters? They're great.
No.
don't
I
know-
think I
don't
collected them at one point, and then I realized they were actually real money, so I just took them out and like spent them on something.
I don't know if I have mine anymore. Something similar might have happened. I don't know.
I used to collect
Um,
coins. I don't know if I have them anymore.
I think the most useful application of this I could see is if you're doing a blessed run and you have a Stella with kleptomania, and that Stella steals this, then that blessed token can turn into a curse token and help her fail and draw a card while she's at it. That's the only thing I care about with this card. Otherwise, I'm probably never going to play it.
That's a pretty complex web you need to have there to make that work.
Let's keep this in mind for when that happens, which I'm sure will be any day now.
What about the art on this card? I think this is like a creepy guy looking intensely at you flipping the coin, but that person's hand is also kind of creepy.
This is extremely Magic the Gathering art.
I know. Flip a coin was like a weird thing, right? Everybody freaked out about that. Like, how am I supposed to expect to have a coin in this economy or whatever?
Clearly, they need to make a card that's like whenever you draw a chaos token, play a side game. That would obviously be way better.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the next card. So this is Eye of the Djinn. It is another rogue asset, level 2, cost 2, has 2 intellect icons on it. It's an item, relic, blessed, cursed, exceptional, has a reaction. When you initiate a skill test during your turn, exhaust Eye of the Djinn. Set your base skill value to 5 for this test. If a blessed token is revealed during this test, ready Eye of the Djinn. If a curse token is revealed during this test, you may take an additional action this turn. This seems very good.
So let's just like delete the text after set your base skill value to 5 for this test. Would this card still be playable?
Well, that's what I was evaluating at.
Yeah, like this card does what you want it to do, right? Even if you don't have the blessed /curse thing in there.
So I think it depends entirely on whether you can spare the hand slot. and whether you are already a bad character like Preston that has all of your stats are low.
Well, I mean,
But-
my thought process for it is it's in Rogue, and Rogues all have terrible will except for Sphina. So this is like a one card way to counter having a bad will. That was my thought.
That is true. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like if this was a purple card, you would have no need for it as most characters because you only need your will and your will is 5 already, right?
Well,
Yeah.
but this is only
For
during your
green
turn.
characters where even like Jenny has like 3 and everything. Everyone has like 1 will or something. Preston has like 1 in all stats.
Yeah.
For any of those characters, just setting one of your skills to 5 on command is pretty good.
Yeah. Dane, you're right. I missed that it was only during your turn. Never mind. It's terrible. I hate it.
I
I thought it was going to be helpful for dealing with treacheries, which is the reason I play it.
Isn't this maybe still good for Preston if you don't need both your hand slots for like fire axes and stuff?
Yeah. That's exactly who I was thinking of this for. Because you could run like the compass and that kind of stuff, but most of the time your hands are pretty bare. I mean, I guess you could do like the flashlight / key ring stuff too, but this is like leagues better than that kind of a thing. Just because once per turn, it's not an auto success, but it definitely feels close to it. Because 5 is a very good stat that you want to be at, and if you just throw in an active turret or something like that, then you're good.
Also pretty good for murder assassin Wendy trying to shoot people if she can if she can spare a hand slot for it. But I mean, it is exceptional, so you only get 1 copy and it costs 4 XP. It's kind of a bummer.
I guess it opens up some more options for any character to want to be good at some focus stat, but they can only do it once per turn though. And
and only during their turn too. That kind of sucks.
That's like 1 investigate or 1 attack that you can be good at. But you don't have to commit skill cards or money or whatever to be good at that. So
I mean, cards like this are just going to be turned on by that card that's coming out. This Favor of the Sun and Favor of the Moon. Those cards really open these things up, because then this could be, then you know that it's going to be a 5 and I get to ready it again, or it's going to be a 5 and I get to take additional action this turn.
Is there some dumb?
Then I get to have fully half of my deck be nonsense cards that only do stuff with blessed and curse tokens.
Is there some type of blessed Mateo build that we could do with this, where he puts a bunch of blessed tokens in the bag and then uses this? Like all the cards for this whole cycle all blessed, right? Like
basically, yeah. If they're not cursed, they're blessed. Or if they are cursed, sometimes they are blessed too.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a way to make sure that you draw a blessed token and a curse token for every test, then you could just keep, because it's not mutually exclusive. You could keep resetting this and keep getting an extra action.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can get both. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Can you do some type of infinite combo with this if you can force a blessed and cursed every time?
I think it'd be pretty hard, but maybe.
I have to see what this future card that Dane's so excited about does.
Yeah, Dane keeps telling us about these cards that we won't actually get for like a month, but I also think it's kind of funny that this is sort of similar in a lot of ways to the previous card. They're like the same cost. They're both exceptional. They both do kind of something with both blessed and curse tokens. They're kind of interesting, like mirror images of each other.
They both have hands in the art.
Yeah, that too.
I just assumed that this took up the accessory slot, but it actually takes up the hand slot, which is kind of like thrown my mind into like
that's why like as I said, Mateo doesn't really use his hand slots. Someone in chat mentioned Dexter. Could you throw this in a hand slot if you wanted to? And yeah, I don't. What are the Favor of the Moon and Sun? Is that these are things that let you guarantee those tokens or something?
Let's not talk about those too much until we actually have them, though.
Yeah. I started very high on this card and I dropped really low, and now I'm kind of in the middle. So
yeah,
it might be some fun combos you can figure out. And the art on this reminds me of like it reminds me of the dumb artifacts from like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Egyptian card capturing soul monster artifacts or whatever.
Way back in the day when I cared about Magic the Gathering, they redesigned cards online, these Mox Opal and all these Moxes that with art that it was exactly this. It was like a big hand, like right in your face, holding like whatever the gem was. So this is a ripoff. No, I'm kidding. Make more of this and stop making Magic the Gathering. Anyway.
Neon Dynasty.
let's go to the next category of cards.
So how are we doing this? Are we going to kind of talk about all three of these at once? Because the spoilers, the Mystic cards in this pack are basically the fully upgraded versions of the curse versions of the fight, clue, and evade spells.
Yeah.
So
what's the difference in all these? I think they're
So-
all have the same difference.
Yes.
yeah, so the fighting one is Armageddon, the clue one is Eye of Chaos, the evasion one is Shroud of Shadows. Armageddon and Eye of Chaos are level 4. Oh no, they're all level 4.
Yep.
Yep, they are. They did what they did with the Circle and Done, where they had Wither and they had Sixth Sense, and then later on they just went now there's a level 4 version of it. You don't get a level 2 version of it.
Yeah, and I think that I really don't think we should like actually read all three of these because they're very similar to the existing versions. So should we just say what the difference is
Yes.
for each of them? So for Armageddon, I think the difference is that it's +2 willpower.
It's
It's
plus 2 willpower.
and then every one of them changed it so that for each curse token you
Instead
get
of
+1.
just
to
give
whatever
a
you're-
curse token is revealed.
Exactly.
Which is cool, I guess, but I would expect that you're not going to draw multiple curse tokens that often. But when you do, I guess it's cool.
Again,
so that's-
favors.
And then Eye of Chaos, it's similar. It's now +2 willpower, and then it's the same thing. It's now uncapped. Multiple curse tokens, you can do the thing multiple times. And Shroud of Shadows, same deal. You get +2 willpower, and it triggers off of each curse token now instead of just once.
Yeah.
They also all got extra. I think they all got a will icon added to them, but
Okay.
Sure.
you know. So kind of tiny upgrades. Like the willpower bonus is standard for spells, so I guess this is like how many curse tokens are you loading into the bag, / are you able to keep those curse tokens after you draw them or whatever. Because these could scale and do like big bursts of damage or big bursts of clues if you have a way to get those curse tokens.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you don't get curse tokens, then they're the same as the regular ones.
Again,
do-
the
level
favors
0
are going to
spells.
like make everything better.
I do, well, but keep in mind that the fact that you get fewer charges on these than you do with the regular versions like Shriveling,
That's also true.
you almost kind of have to budget in that like one of the times that you draw a curse token, you're going to use it to add a charge, which is nice. But at that point, you're kind of just restoring it to like the number of charges you would have gotten if you picked Shriveling instead.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. Also, these are kind of like less of a strong upgrade than like level 5 Shriveling, because level 5 Shriveling just automatically gives you 3 damage when you hit. Level 4 Rite of Seeking just automatically gives you 3 clues when you succeed. And the level 4 version doesn't actually bump it up to like 3 clues and 3 damage. It just gives you a chance to get like 4 or 5 if you draw a ton of curse tokens.
Yeah, exactly.
As mentioned in chat, if you are trying to draw that many curse tokens, you do still need to pass the test. And I mean, mystics are good at pumping up their will, but I mean, there's a point where it's like, oh, if I want to do 5 damage, that means I have to deal with a -6, so I gotta be prepared for that, So
I like this series of spells and I want to try them, but I think that like level 5 Shriveling, level 4 Rite of Seeking are straight up better than these.
Yeah, I'm excited to take them into like a cursed run because that's kind of where they'll probably shine the most. And you might want to like take it on Akachi or something because of the fact that she gives it an extra charge or whatever. But like, they're very interesting. I think they'll definitely shine with the favors. And what's cool about it though is, I mean, the Shroud of Shadows is kind of funny because you could just move like 5 locations away.
Oh, yeah,
One thing I hadn't noticed is Eye of Chaos is you discover 1 clue at a connecting location. So you actually can't pick up extra clues from the location that you're at. You can only pick them up from adjacent locations.
Yeah, but I mean, if that option's not available to you, you can just put another charge back on it.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That makes it...
Well, and it's also worth mentioning that so like Armageddon and Shroud of Shadows, you kind of get less charges by default than the like Shriveling, than like the core set equivalents. But Eye of Chaos, you get 3 charges, which is the same as Rite of Seeking. It's just that you get fewer clues unless you get some curse tokens. So yeah, I don't know. I still think these are cool, even if, like I said, I think that they might be like strictly worse than existing powered up spells, but they still seem cool.
They're strictly worse on like a 1-to-1 comparison. If you've loaded up your deck with stuff to add curses or ways to like mitigate curses and whatnot, then they might come out ahead. But I think it's harder to get them to work. I think
Just a question: if you reveal a curse token, like in the perspective of one of these actions, and then you cancel it with like the rogue thing or whatever like that, or the rogue covenant, would this like still trigger, or since it's canceled,
No, if it's
would it?
if it's been canceled, then it counts as not being revealed. If it's
Gotcha,
been like
okay.
modified or something, like the Davey in chat was mentioning with the Seeker Covenant, like that changes it to have a +1 instead of a -2. So like that would still work because it's still a curse token, and it was still revealed. But
Yeah, yeah. We don't have a mystic / seeker, do we? No, we don't. I don't think. Oh no, we have Luke. We have Luke.
Luke, yeah.
Yeah.
So he could be fun to play with. What's the rogue one just cancels the curse token?
It does, yeah.
I was trying
And
to
it
figure out
throws
if
it
that
out
was,
of the pool.
that wouldn't be great with Dexter trying to do this stuff, but yeah. So definitely interesting. Again, like everything else in the cycle, you gotta use other cards in the cycle to make these get their maximum payoff. So
We'll come back.
That does seem to be the case.
Yeah.
Dane, why don't you read this because Dan did the Mystic cards?
Yeah, absolutely. So next card is Spirit of Humanity. This has also been spoiled a little while back. It is a survivor asset, level 2, costs 2 to play, and commits for a will icon. It's a ritual, blessed and cursed. As a fast action, you can exhaust it and take a damage and a horror to add 2 blesses to the bag. Or fast action, exhaust it, and add 2 curse tokens to the chaos bag, heal 1 damage and 1 horror, and it takes up a spell slot, which is very not relevant for survivors at this time.
So I assume this card is supposed to be for Calvin. Is that supposed to be Calvin on the card?
That is Calvin on the art. Yes,
I mean,
is Calvin on the art.
It has the same clothes, but I feel like his entire head and hair and everything is different.
He's looking like a guy that's taken several gunshot wounds to every part of his body and is on the verge of death. So that is pretty Calvin-esque.
That is a very Calvin. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, I was very excited about this card when it was spoiled, because also Agnes, and now parallel Agnes. So I'm excited.
I can tell you right now, if I could play this in Mark, I would play the hell out of this in Mark.
That is also, yeah.
Like a first aid that I don't have to spend an action on. Yes, please. Instead, I have to. What is this? Add 2 squiggly wiggly tokens. I don't even know what those are.
Probably no cost.
Yeah, no cost. I love to see it. Yeah, perfect.
And
I see it has another ability above that. Something. Don't care. That also doesn't matter.
I mean, Tommy can use it to kill his assets and things, right? It's kind of neat.
Oh, to give himself money?
Yeah.
Get money very slowly to spend.
Well,
I don't know.
Like kill off a Brother Xavier when he needs to, or something like that. I mean, the blessed add 2 blessed church tokens is like whatever, but like the utility is there, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, this, because it's in Survivor and Jessica and Peter exist. Like, if you really want blessed tokens, here you go. like this will load up the bag real quick.
So you could play Jess and Peter in this, and you could play like the skill that unexhausts. Oh no, that's not an ally, so you can't exhaust.
I mean, you're already playing Jess and Peter if you're playing Calvin. So and Calvin's not using spell slots, so like this is definitely very good for Calvin. It's blessed again.
You have to want blessed tokens though.
I mean, you can also just want to take a damage and a horror because you're Calvin.
Okay.
Yeah. It helps Calvin ramp up if he needs to. No, this is obviously very good for Calvin.
Agnes can play this and heals horror. That's like kind of.
Yeah, and she can take a horror on demand, although the damage.
Well, she can take the damage on the horror and then she can heal it.
I think that what with Peter and other things, she has enough other options, but maybe the parallel Agnes or something.
Yes, parallel Agnes is
thinking about.
Hilarious with this.
I mean, Agnes could also, I guess, use this if she wants to try to use the cursed spells we just talked about.
Yeah.
Because this is another way to get cursed tokens in the bag. But
I feel like if they're going to call a card Spirit of Humanity, I would really like for the art to be a little bit more ironic than this. I would like it to be a picture of like just a guy sitting in a lawn chair with one of those like beer straw hats or something, just like chilling out and having a good time.
Well,
Or
this is the 1930s, right?
yeah, I guess I don't know. I just if they're gonna call something Spirit of Humanity, I'd like to see it acknowledge how insane and weird humans are. But that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know if the art matches up with the name of the card really. Is it
What's up
because
with this glyph? Is that glyph like something from Calvin's backstory or something?
I assume that the
So-
glyph is the spell, right? Because this is a spell, or it's not even a
Sure,
spell; it's a
yeah.
ritual. But
Yeah.
wait, did he make that glyph with his own blood?
Yeah, Calvin's
looks-
getting into some
Looks like
weird shit.
surprised to see it. He looks like he's like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, what's going on?"
Well,
Yeah,
it's like dripping though.
I mean, around now, in terms of like the mythos pack we're on, we're like maybe wanting to keep an eye on like what the next cycle will be, and like you know how he like dropped a hint with the tarot card in Forgotten Age, the Alter Fate was like in the last pack of Forgotten Age, and then it's like, oh surprise, we're going to Circle Undone, you know, like
That's
those
a
kinds
good
of
point.
things.
The next cycle is probably going to be the Calvin cycle,
Yeah.
where all the investigators are going to be 5 parallel versions of Calvin. All the cards are going to be spirits that Calvin can play, and the entire campaign is going to be like the adventure of Calvin, starring Calvin, featuring Calvin. I'll probably just sit that one out, but I'm sure a lot of people will really enjoy it.
I mean,
well, this
yeah.
is pack 4, Dane. I don't know if they dropped the hints that early. They might. The hints are also always very obtuse. Like they're never like a good enough hint that you can actually guess what the next thing is. It's usually like looking back, oh, that was a little hint to this, but like tarot cards hinting at the Circle of Dud wasn't.
They do, and then like the very end of the designer notes at the end of the last pack usually does kind of hint towards something that's like,
Yeah.
if you really Lovecraft stuff, you have a good shot of guessing it. But by the time that comes out, they've already announced the next cycle pretty much.
Again, somewhere in Poland.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Estonian distributor for this game has already like posted full pictures of everything on their website.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right, let's look at the last card of this pack, which is Harmony Restored. It is a Survivor level 2 event that costs 3, has 2 willpower icons. It's a Fortune and Blessed. Search the Chaos Bag for X curse tokens and return them to the token pool. X is the number of blessed tokens in the Chaos Bag. Gain 1 resource for each curse token removed this way. The art features a guy hopefully chaining up a book and not unchaining it, because the latter would be dangerous.
This art is intense and very cool.
I was about to say that. This is the first time I looked at the art and I was like, damn, this is some sick art. The perspective's awesome. That book looks dope. I wonder, it's Adam S. Doyle yet again.
I like the kind of it's very different from the stuff he normally does. It's not like a glowing cyber fox or cyber dolphin.
I know, right? Usually it's more like ethereal and stuff, but this is like actually...
he doesn't do the cyber animals. He does the kind of like glowing symbols and stuff, but this is really cool. I like the kind of like blurry oil paintingness of the background and the torches. That's really neat.
Yeah. Anyway, the actual card. you need to remove three curse tokens to recoup the cost of this card.
Yeah.
That's the issue here, I think. If this were 0 cost, I'd be like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Throw it in and then gain some money. It's like, why not?
I think the idea is you're supposed to be removing curse tokens from the bag, which is a good thing, but curse tokens don't do anything.
Well, so... unless you're playing those new spells, in which case you don't want them removed from the bag. You want to draw them.
I mean,
or your Mateo players just like trolling.
Yeah, or if you're playing like the one of these other things that like gives you an extra action if you're playing the Eye of the Jinn or whatever. Like,
I mean, there's definitely cards that compete against each other for whether you want blessed or curse tokens. So I mean, this is one that helps you get rid of curse tokens. But
I think if you have so many curse tokens in the bag that you want to get rid of them, why don't you just play fewer cards that add curse tokens? Because there's not that many that are really good. It's only a few that are like actually great. I don't know. I wish this didn't cost 3. If it cost 1, maybe,
Yeah. Or if it was fast.
Yeah, or that. But it's like, okay, so you have to have let's say like 5 blessed tokens and 5 curse tokens in the bag, and then you spend an action and a card You remove a bunch of curse tokens that you don't really care about on average, and you gain net $2.
Yeah, the
Eh.
big thing, the big benefit I think would be like the gaining the resources, right? Because like taking out curse tokens, if you took out 6 curse tokens, this is like an emergency cache with upside, I guess. But like if this said gain 1 resource and draw 1 card for each thing removed this way, then I'd be like, oh, okay, that's actually not bad. You know what I mean? But like it's just like almost like removing 2 is like not as good as an emergency cache, and it's like.
Davey has a good point in chat. If you've already filled up the bag with curse tokens and you want to play other cards that have a cost of adding curse tokens, you need to take some of them out of the bag first.
But like, why is
You
why
guys
is
do some tests.
Survivors don't care about curse tokens.
I mean, it's
Well, no,
level 2,
they-
so like it's an off-class card, but
Survivors have cards that remove curse tokens.
yeah, they like
Yeah.
add bless and
Like-
remove curse for the most part. I mean, the last card we
like-
just saw adds curse, but
Guardians add bless tokens and do things with bless tokens. Seekers add curse tokens or do weird stuff that involves mostly curse tokens.
Right.
Rogues add curse tokens or do weird stuff that can trigger off of either of them.
Right.
Mystics add curse tokens or trigger off of curse tokens.
And bless tokens.
And survivors can add bless tokens or remove curse tokens or do whatever. Like it
Right.
breaks down something like that.
right. If we look at the whole pool, I'm sure we could analyze it better. I don't know. I don't think there's much stuff in Mystic that actually adds curse tokens other than pop, right?
They're a
Oh,
little
there's
cute.
pop, yeah, which
There we
I
go.
mean, if you weight it by like how often the cards are actually played and how good they are, then that's pretty relevant. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, 2 will symbols is fine if you're looking to do weird.
But
weird
it
stuff
costs
with
2 experience. Yeah, this has to be a very specific build where you're like hammering hard curse tokens each round, and you need to refill that resource of curse tokens, and then maybe it's worth it. Because there are a bunch of cards that cost curse tokens instead of money, so this is kind of like a way to counter that, I guess.
that is true. I do also like the double will symbols. My last thought on this card is that this guy in the art probably has a pretty cool like black metal band, and or probably has a pretty good TikTok. That's my judgment of this guy. So because he's got a flair for the theatrical, you can tell from the image.
That is true. Yeah. I guess that's a good point. But the thing is that like Mystics are going to be probably the class that's going to be wanting this the most because they do things like with both blessed and cursed. I don't know. We'll see. That's all we'll say. I'll say like I'm not too high up on it right now. Asterisk. And everything that has a blessed or cursed token has an asterisk until A, the favors come out, and B, the cycle is completed.
We say this literally every show.
I know.
You guys, I've given up on it by now. You guys keep saying it.
Yeah. So what's a skein? I don't know. Is that? I thought there was just a weird way to pronounce
skein.
Skin.
Is like a tangled thing.
Is it? Oh.
It's
It's like an loom, like weaving stuff.
Yeah, like a tangled mess or something.
There's a magic card called Vision Skeins. That's the only thing I know it from.
Yeah. Well, anyway, everybody, how do you all feel about the pack? We do appreciate you all being here, hanging out with us, and helping us out with evaluating these cards. Because until we get to the point where we can take the asterisk off with all the payoffs and things like that, we'll definitely we'll be here talking about them. So, who else is excited to see the definitely upcoming coin swag from By the Same Token and Orbits? I know I want like a really cool acrylic coin specifically for Lucky Penny or whatever the hell that card is called. Let us know your thoughts. Reach out to us on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, or email us at comments@mur.fm. Consider donating to our Patreon, and thanks for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.